Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name is Dec, and if you enjoy talking about movies in any way, shape or form, you're going to feel right at home here. If you enjoy this video, be sure to hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you don't miss any uploads from me. Now in today's video we're going to be doing something that is very late, but I still thought that, you know, it's kind of still relevant for me and it's still a video that I've wanted to make. I missed out on it and I just felt like now seems like a good of a time as any to release this video, and that is my top 10 most anticipated films of 2019. Now obviously yes, we are in March. I'm very aware of this. However, I actually looked at my list, which I created back in January, and I was looking at the list and I was thinking to myself, well, all 10 of these films have actually not come out yet, so technically this list is still relevant and still viable as a most anticipated list because none of these 10 films have actually released yet. So with that out of the way, I'm just going to dive straight into this and let's do it. Let's do our top 10, or my top 10 most anticipated films of the year, starting off with number 10. Coming in at number 10, we have Snake Eyes. Now, Snake Eyes is a film that I really have no attachment to from the franchise perspective. Obviously, this is a spin-off of the G.I. Joe series. I know nothing about G.I. Joe. I've never seen any of the old cartoons. I've not read any of the books. I've not even seen the two films that we got sort of in the 2010s era. I haven't seen any of them, not read anything, none of it. The only real reason I'm excited about Snake Eyes is that, one, I just think it's a really cool concept for a movie, and I think it's something that I will really enjoy, but also Henry Golding has been cast in the lead as Snake Eyes. I'm a big Henry Golding fan. I've really loved him in the last couple of years as he's cropped up, and I'm really excited to see what he does in a role like this, like a really action-heavy role. And also, the main reason is that Iko Uwais is in this movie as the villain, and Iko Uwais is one of my favourite actors. I love him. Love him in the Raid movies, love him in Headshot, love him in Night Comes For Us. All those great action Indonesian films that he is a star of. I love him. And, you know, Iko Uwais is one of those actors I'll just watch anything he does. So the fact that he sort of put himself in this movie as the villain, I think is a really cool idea. And Iko doesn't typically play villains. Like, he did play the villain in The Night Comes For Us, and he's brilliant in that. So the fact that he's playing the villain again, I'm really excited about. So for me, Snake Eyes, it's something that I can't really say much about, but I'm really excited about it. Coming in at number 9, we have The Purge 5. Now, The Purge 5 is a complete example as to how trash my movie opinions are, because I absolutely love the Purge movies. I really enjoy them. They're kind of like what my ultimate guilty pleasures, up there with Transformers movies. I just really enjoy them. And the first Purge, which was the last movie that came out in 2018, it's actually my favourite in the franchise and really kind of gave me even more love for the series. So I'm really excited for The Purge 5. This is supposedly the final film in the franchise, although they did say that about election year, so we'll see how that goes. But I think that The Purge 5 could be really exciting, just a really fun movie from Blumhouse, which, again, I'm a huge fan of the Purge franchise. I really enjoy them, so the fact we're getting another one, I can't complain. Coming in at number 8, we have Black Widow. Now, this will be our first MCU film of the year, first of two, and you will see the other one on this list. But Black Widow, for me, out of all the Phase 4, Marvel Phase 4 announcements, was definitely the film that I was least excited about, just because I feel like out of all the movies, it just feels the most kind of, you know, by the numbers MCU film. I feel like this film will feel very similar to something like Winter Soldier, which isn't a bad thing. Obviously, this is still number 8 on my most anticipated list. I'm still very excited about it. I just feel like it's the most conventional. However, I'm still very excited about it. The director seems very promising. The trailers that we've received have been absolutely awesome. The action and the music, oh my god, the music, like the score just sounds fantastic for this film, and I'm really excited about that. And also the cast is stellar in this movie. Also, we have ScarJo returning as Natasha Romanoff. We also have David Harbour as Red Guardian, which is really cool casting. Rachel Weisz is going to be playing in this movie as well. We also have the villain, Taskmaster. And the main thing that really draws me to this movie is Florence Pugh, who is one of my favourite actresses working today. I absolutely love her. She was my favourite actress last year. And the fact that she is now in the MCU as Yelena Belova, I think is really great casting, and I cannot wait to see her in the MCU. So all the elements coming together for Black Widow to make it a really exciting film for me. Following that, in number 7, we have Wonder Woman 1984. Now, Wonder Woman was a film that really took the world by storm when it came out in 2017, and I myself was very impressed with that film. While I do feel like it does fall apart in the third act, I really like the first two, and it definitely shows the potential for this character, and also Patty Jenkins as the director. And 1984 just seems to have a burst of creativity coming through to it. I really enjoy the setting. I think bringing it into the 80s is just going to bring this sense of life to it that we haven't seen in the movies thus far. And the 80s isn't really a setting that's used in comic book movies, I think, as much as it should be. We have seen a couple, like X-Men Apocalypse, which, as much as I enjoy X-Men Apocalypse, it didn't really embrace the 80s setting. And obviously Joker, which was kind of supposed to be set in the 80s, was again a completely separate thing. So this is really going to be the first for the genre that's really going to embrace the 80s, and I'm really excited about that. Also, the villain, Cheetah, great. We also have Maxwell Lord in this, played by Pedro Pascal, who's finally getting to redeem himself in the Wonder Woman verse, as he, if you don't know, he was actually in the Wonder Woman pilot with Adrian Padalecki, but that movie, that series never went anywhere. So he's actually finally getting to redeem himself in this, which is really nice to see. Also, we have Chris Pine returning as Steve Trevor. How he's returning, we don't quite know yet, but I'm very excited to find out. Also, the action just looks great. The score's going to be fantastic. Of course, we have Hans Zimmer returning to score this film, which is great news. And I just think that the trailers have just really promised a really fun and creative-looking Wonder Woman film, which is what I really wanted from the first movie. As much as I really enjoyed the more grounded and gritty nature of the first one, I'm excited for this one to really just kind of embrace those more comic booky elements, which it really looks like it's going to do. Coming in at number 6, after that we have the second MCU film of the year, all the way in November, which is The Eternals. Now, The Eternals is probably the most difficult MCU film within Phase 4 to kind of materialize in your head. It's a very big concept movie. It's a very big film. Of course, we have Chloe Zhao, who was the director of The Rider. She's coming in to direct this film. And I think that her handling of this is going to be very, very important and crucial and very, very dependable on whether this movie is actually going to be good or not. Obviously, it's Marvel, it's the MCU. All films are pretty much at least good. So I feel like, you know, at least we have that baseline. But I feel like that The Eternals is something that they're really going to have to sell. Like Guardians of the Galaxy, when that film came out, they really had to sell us on that concept, and luckily it did, and it was a huge success. And The Eternals, I think, really has to do the same thing. And I think what's really going to push this movie is the cast. We have a really star-studded cast for this, people like Richard Madden and Salma Hayek, Angelina Jolie, Brian Tyree Henry, Kumail Nanjiani, Lauren Ridloff from The Walking Dead. We've got a really cool, exciting cast here, and I'm really excited to see how they're going to play, and also how The Eternals are going to play into the MCU, because they're such larger than life cosmic characters. They're going to be really difficult to actually bring into this universe, and that's going to be really exciting for me to see. And even though it's quite a difficult movie to conceptualize, again, we've not seen anything from the Eternals yet, I myself am still really excited just on concept alone. Coming in at number 5, we have the final outing from Daniel Craig in No Time to Die. This is, of course, the 5th and final Daniel Craig Bond film, and of course this movie has recently been delayed. It was going to come out in April, it's now coming out in November due to the coronavirus outbreak. For me, No Time to Die, I'm really excited about it because it feels like the final step in evolution for Daniel Craig's character. Daniel Craig's Bond I've always viewed as the origin story, which has basically led him to be the more classic style Bond that we've seen. I think we really started to see in Spectre how he was able to kind of bring in those more Bond-esque elements, and No Time to Die looks to be fully embracing it, with the car coming back, and even the title being very classic. I think that this is really going to feel like a classic style Bond with a modern twist. I think bringing in someone like Cary Fukunaga to direct this, who of course is the mastermind behind True Detective, I think is a really exciting choice. Also, Rami Malek as the villain I think could be very interesting if it goes well, and I think that No Time to Die overall could actually be one of the better Bond films from Craig, which is pretty good considering his track record is pretty good so far. So for me, No Time to Die, I'm very sad that it was delayed, but I'm very excited to see it when it does come out in November. In at number 4, we have Top Gun Maverick. Now, Top Gun Maverick is a film that I'm very excited about. Top Gun is a film that's very, very close to my heart. It's kind of a childhood movie. I really enjoy it, and of course, I'm a huge Tom Cruise fan. I'm very excited about this for a couple of reasons. For one, the trailers have super impressed me. I've really enjoyed how they look. I think that it just really has this sense of identity and evolution and maturity to it. Of course, Top Gun being an incredibly 80s film, I think that the addition with Top Gun Maverick, it really has to bring itself into the modern age, and it really looks like like it's done that with these trailers. Also, the actual flight scenes look absolutely incredible. Tom Cruise, being the guy that he is, has learned how to fly an actual fighter jet for this movie, and that really adds the authenticity. Also, Hans Zimmer is doing the score for this, which is so exciting for me personally. I really am excited to see what he does with this. And the only thing that slightly scares me is the director, because this is the same director as Oblivion, which was a movie I really don't like. But that aside, I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt just because of how great this film looks, and I really hope they do deliver a really outstanding sequel to Top Gun, because it's been a long time coming. I've been waiting a long time for it, so I really hope it doesn't disappoint, and based on the trailers, based on what we've seen, I don't think it will. Coming in at number 3, we have Fast and Furious 9. Now, this is a film I cannot wait for. The Fast and Furious franchise is one that is very close to my heart. I love this series, and I think that 9 really looks like it's bringing back all the best elements. I think we've had a little bit of a stumble recently with Fast 8 and also Hobbs and Shaw. I think that 9 is really going to bring it back. I think bringing back Justin Lin to direct this, who of course is kind of like the crown jewel of the Fast and Furious directors, to kind of bring him back, to really bring the crew back together, I think is a really great idea. And I really like the concept of this. We have John Cena, who is apparently Toretto's brother, which I think is just super dumb but super exciting. And of course we have Han returning in this, which I don't think I've reacted more to a trailer in my entire life than when Han showed up at the end of the trailer for Fast 9. Han, maybe one of my favorite movie characters of all time. Definitely my favorite character in this franchise. I've just been waiting for Han to come back because I knew he would at some point, and he finally is returning in this, which is so exciting. I'm loving all the settings. The action just looks even more balls to the wall than 8, which I didn't know was possible. They just keep outdoing themselves with this franchise, and every single movie just gets more intense, more insane, and more exciting, and therefore more fun. And I think that this franchise, it just delivers such an incredibly diverse cast with such great moments, and so memorable as well. I'm so excited to see where 9 goes, and eventually lead into the final film, which will of course be Fast and Furious 10 in 2023. I cannot wait to see where this all goes and how it all concludes. But as of right now, Fast and Furious 9 is definitely a movie I am so excited about. Coming in at number 2, we have Christopher Nolan's Tenet. Now, this, of course, is the latest film from blockbuster filmmaker Christopher Nolan, and this is him really returning to blockbuster filmmaking. He's kind of taken a little bit of a step back from that with movies like Interstellar and Dunkirk, but now he's really returning back to the realm of blockbuster filmmaking in line with something like Inception or the Dark Knight trilogy. I think that Tenet, based on the trailer that we've seen, it just looks so creative and imaginative and intense and fun, and really all those best elements that you get from movies like Inception are really seeded within Tenet. Also, the cast is so exciting for me. John David Washington, who was really a standout performer for me in 2018 with Spike Lee's Black Klansman, and also following it up with Robert Pattinson, who of course has just been absolutely killing it in recent years with films like Good Time and High Life, and recently The Lighthouse. He's just been absolutely killing it. Like, this cast is so expansive and so talented, and I think that this is a real new generation of Nolan stars, which I cannot wait to see evolve in the next sort of 10 or so years. And I just think that Tenet, it just clearly has so much going on with it, and I cannot wait to explore what Tenet means. I cannot wait to explore what the story is. It's just got so much going on, and there's so much intricacy within it. You could just tell that Nolan really wanted to make this film and really wanted to make this story come to life, and I cannot wait to see how it actually plays out. I actually got to see a 5-minute preview of this film. I've seen about 5 minutes of a scene, and I was blown away by it. And I've mentioned him a couple times already as well, but I just really love what Nolan's doing with this. And also the score sounds phenomenal. Like, Ludwig Göransson really is knocking out of the park with this score from what I've heard so far. And I just think that Tenet, this could be one of my favorite Nolan films if it comes off. And coming in at number 1, without a shadow of a doubt, is Denis Villeneuve's Dune. Now, this film comes in right at the tail end, right in December. And this is easily my number 1, simply because Denis Villeneuve is my favourite director of all time. I love Denis Villeneuve. His work inspires me. It really affects me. I just love every single one of his films. And seeing Denis Villeneuve taking on such a huge project like Dune, just proves to me that clearly people believe in him. Like, clearly people are believing in his passion and in his visionary directing style. I think if you watch something like his previous film, Blade Runner 2049, you can see that he has that ability to really conceptualize a sense of scale. He really has the ability to bring those big ideas onto screen. And Dune being such a huge novel and such a huge franchise, and of course we've had a movie about it in the past, I think that the way he's going to be able to take that, modernize it, and bring it to modern audiences with such an expansive cast with people like Josh Brolin, Timothy Chalamet, Oscar Isaac, Rebecca Ferguson. That's such a brilliant cast that he's managed to assemble for this. It's just going to be such an incredible experience. And all I've heard about this movie behind the scenes is that it's the next Star Wars, it's the next Lord of the Rings, which are very ambitious phrases that always scare me when I hear it, but given that this is Denis, and given that this is Han scoring it, given the fact that it's got so much talent behind it, and given the fact that Denis, who directed something like Blade Runner 2049, which is my favourite film of all time, I cannot help myself but get excited about it, because I just know that this film is going to be fantastic. Now, I am prepared for this film to not exactly be my favourite film from Denis, just because I think that the subject matter and the sort of theme of the movie, you know, the genre of the movie, isn't exactly something that appeals to me necessarily. But if anybody's going to get me on board for this, it's Denis Villeneuve. So for that simply alone, Denis Villeneuve, my favourite director of all time. Anytime he's dropping a movie, I'm incredibly hyped, and therefore he has to have my #1 spot. I'm so excited for Dune, and I cannot wait to see how this movie just looks. I'm so excited to do a trailer reaction to that first trailer that dropped, because I know my mind will be blown. But what are your most anticipated films of the year? Make sure to let me know your list in the comment section down below. Yes, I know it is March, as I said at the beginning, but either way, make sure to let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And as always, guys, if you want to see more movie reviews and movie-related videos just like this one, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any uploads from me. And I hope to see you guys again in my next video.